Jana Yamuna Tira Varaja Yamuna Tira Varaja Punjabi Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Jayo Prabhupada Jayo Prabhupada Jayo Prabhupada Jayo Prabhupada Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Har Har Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Go Premanande, Hari Hari Bo. All glories to assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Om Namah Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Vasudevaya. So today we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, Chapter 5, text number 23 and 24. And as all devotees already know, today purport, Srila Prabhupada purport is extremely opulent. It's long and abundant with all wonderful words of wisdom. So we will continue uh, particular sections of this purport, and today we will read about Kirtanam. Shri Prahlada Uvacha Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam Padasevanam Smaranam Padasevanam Archanam Vandanam Dasyam Archanam Vandanam Dasyam Sakhyam Atmanivedanam Sakhyam Atmanivedanam Itupum Sarpita Vishnu Itipum Pumsarpita Vishnu Bhaktishtennavalakshana Bhaktishtennavalakshana Kriyeta Bhagavati Adha Kriyeta Bhagavati Adha Tadmanyeditam Uttamam Tadmanyeditam Uttamam Shri Prahrada Uvacha Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam Padasevanam Archanam Vananam Dasyam Sakyam Atmanivedanam Iti Pumsar Pita Vishnu Bhaktishtenanava Lakshana Kriyeta Bhagavati Adha Tanmanyed Ditam Uttamam. So we'll skip chanting, further chanting, and we will jump into reading Srila Prabhupada purport because it's quite long, and if we want elaborate about Srila Prabhupada words, so then let's read continuation of Srila Prabhupada purport. Kirtana. The hearing of the holy name has been described above. Now let us try to understand the chanting of the holy name, which is the second item in the consecutive order. It is recommended that such chanting be performed very loudly. In Srimad Bhagavatam, Narada Muni says that without shame he began traveling all over the world chanting the holy name of the Lord. Similarly, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has advised, Trinadapi Sunichena Tharorapi Sahishnuna Amanina Manadena Kirtaniya Sadahari. A devotee can very peacefully chant the holy name of the Lord by behaving more humbly than the grass, being tolerant like a tree, and offering respects to everyone without expecting honor from anyone else. Such qualifications make it easier to chant the holy name of the Lord. The process of transcendental chanting can be easily performed by anyone, even if one is physically unfit, classified lower than others, devoid of material qualifications, or not at all elevated in terms of pious activities. The chanting of the holy name is beneficial. An aristocratic birth, an advanced education, beautiful bodily features, wealth, and similar results of pious activities are all unnecessary for advancement in spiritual life. For one can very easily advance simply by chanting the holy name. It is understood from the authoritative source of Vedic literature that especially in this age, Kali Yuga, people are generally short-living, extremely bad in their habits, and inclined to accept methods of devotional service that are not bona fide. Moreover, they are always disturbed by material conditions, and they are mostly unfortunate. Under the circumstances, the performance of other processes such as yajna, dana, tapa, and kriya, sacrifices, charity, and so on, are not at all possible. Therefore, it is recommended Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Hare Nama Kevalam, Kalauna Sevana Sevanatsi Eva Gatir Anyatha. In this age of quarrel and hypocrisy, the only means of deliverance is chanting of the holy name of the Lord. There is no other way. There is no other way. There is no other way. Simply by chanting the holy name of the Lord, one advances perfectly in spiritual life. This is the best process for success in life. In other ages, the chanting of the holy name is equally powerful, but especially in this age, Kali Yuga, it is most powerful. Kirtanat eva Krishnasya mukta sangha param vrajet. Simply by chanting the holy name of Krishna, one is liberated and returns home back to Godhead. Therefore, even if one is able to perform other processes of devotional service, one must adopt the chanting of the holy name as the principal method of advancing in spiritual life. I would stop for a moment here and share a few words about the text so far we read. As we remember, a few days ago, we were analyzing different qualities that we are hearing today. Usually, all different yoga processes uh, include rules and regulations in their practice and lifestyle. They are called yama and niyama. Yama are different restrictions, what we shouldn't do. In the Srila Prabhupada language that he usually used in Nectar of Devotion, uh, he called this unfavorable activities, activities which are not pleasurable for Krishna satisfaction. And they are niyama. Niyama means some favorable activities which are meant to satisfy Krishna. Some recommendation, what we should do. So we remember we were reading words of Sanda and Amarka or Hiranyakashipu, especially Sanda and Amarka. As if I remember, I was reading also from Bhagavad Gita, where Krishna was analyzing different qualities of demoniac nature. We hear so many awful qualities that we don't want to invite into our life. But also we mentioned that if we somehow or another detect these horrible qualities, demoniac qualities that by which we became infected in a human society that we originated from. So then we should be disgusted and try to get rid of this as quick as possible. Like Srila Prabhupada mentioned in quite few places in his purports that no one is inviting the fire, especially when we are in the house, when fires start up. So then we are not tolerating this. We just want to get rid of this fire as quick as possible because it's very dangerous for our life. Similarly, if we detecting some danger, unfavorable uh, activities or behavior in our condition life, in our condition consciousness, we need to get rid of this as fire as 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 quick, as fast as possible, like extinguishing the fire. Like envy, lust, anger, greed, illusion, identifying ourselves with the body. We shouldn't be proud of this. We should be disgusted. My goodness, I'm practicing so long and I'm still have problem with this godly concept of life. It's bothering me. I hate this. I don't want to continue in this way. I need to get rid of this as quick as possible. So all this unwanted, this anarthas, this unfavorable activities or behavior in our consciousness, in our polluted consciousness, should we should get rid of all these bad qualities as quick as possible. And this analysis that we did a few days ago about uh, behavior of Sandaya and Amarka, how they were exhibiting all these bad qualities, that can be for us yama, what we shouldn't do, what we shouldn't accept in our life. And as soon as we detect this, we should get rid of this as quickly as possible. Today, we have another very positive news from Srimad Bhagavatam. What we should do, what niyamas are, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Padasevanam, etc., etc. So it starts with Shravanam, hearing. Hearing is extremely important because if it depends what we hear. When you hear good news, good things, favorable things for your upliftment, development, improvement, you it can make you successful. But if if we give our attention to something unfavorable, like for instance Sandaya Marka, it can break us. So different things in this material world can make us or can break us. So therefore, we need to be very careful to be able to distinguish what is good, what is bad. Get rid of bad and put our ear or our attention to something what is good if we want improvement. So on the basis of information from Srimad Bhagavatam today, we understand what is necessary for us to do, what we should do, what we should invite to our life in order to make spiritual progress. So we had yesterday Shravanam, hearing from authorized sources, and today we have Kirtanam. So when we are able to distinguish bad from good and good from bad, so then naturally we will pay attention to something what is good. And then we listen from authorized sources what is proper, what is favorable, something that can uplift our consciousness, something that can improve our performance of devotional service and help us to develop purity in our consciousness and remembering Krishna, as we will read next. After Shravanam is Kirtanam. When we hear properly, then we are able to chant properly, to apply Kirtanam properly. And then when it's Shravanam and Kirtanam properly, the natural consequences is Smarana, remembering Vishnu. So therefore, it is important to know what is bad, important in sense that we know what to avoid, what to not invite or cultivate in our life. Sometimes people say, oh, this is me, this is me. And who are you? If it is you, all this contamination, all these bad qualities, this is not you. This is something that you acquire from a wrong place. Like sometimes it's rainy weather and cloudy, and sometimes when we walk through the fields in the village, so then some mud and some ponds can splash some dirty water on us, and then we are full of different dirty spots. So, and then we, with this dirt, we come to home, and a wife can say, "Oh my goodness, how you look! You're so dirty." Oh, this is me. It's not you. We just, we just, we got some dirt on us, and we should just wash away all this dirt because originally we are pure. As eternal spirit soul, we are originally Satchit Ananda, pure, uncontaminated by this bodily concept of life, which is the product of this material existence. So therefore, if we pay attention to the authorized source of knowledge and we e- extend our ear in this direction to hear properly from proper source of knowledge, then we will purify our consciousness, and then we'll be able to uh, apply kirtanam in very proper way. We continue. Kirtanat eva Krishna yagnyai sankirtana prayai yagyanti hi sumedasa. Those who are very sharp in their intelligence should adopt this process of chanting the holy names of the Lord. One should not, however, manufacture different types of chanting. One should adhere seriously to the chanting of the holy name as recommended in the scriptures. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Shna 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 ram 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 sham shna shna sham sham sham. Why I'm paraphrasing? Because Srila Prabhupada mentioned we shouldn't manufacture different types of devotional service or chanting. We should chant exactly as scriptures are indicating to us. And we, in due course of time, when we practice bhakti yoga amongst other bhakti practitioners who are different individuals and coming to bhakti community due to different reasons, and therefore we sometimes can hear, the shna shna ram ram shna 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 ram ram, all these things, and we are trying kindly correct them for their own benefit. This is not the right mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, etc. So, uh, and now is, and also it is, Srila Prabhupada mentioned earlier that uh, how we should chant, not only proper mantra, and we should pay attention to this chanting of the uh, proper words of Maha Mantra, but also we should chant with loving affection to Krishna in very humble mood, more humble than straw on the street, and more tolerant than the tree. Like we, like here in Gita Nagari Dham, straw is everywhere, especially when our hero Gopas is driving this little vehicle delivering the food to our noble Surabis. So then straw is falling here and there. So we can see on every our street of this dham, there are some straw. And who cares about this to get when to step on? It's no big deal. We're not paying attention. But from the point of view of the straw, if we will be the straw, we will scream, "Oh my goodness! Another step, another booth, another shoes on my body." But we, as a devotee, bhakti practitioner, we should be more humble even than this straw on the street. Sometimes kids, when coming to woods, they have this habit to get some little knife and, and sizzle some, hard and pierce with some arrow, and "I love you," whatever. "I love you too," and all these different things. But tree is standing firm and it's not and not protesting or complaining. Hey, this is my body, this is my skin. Don't do this. Don't cut me. No, it's just staying firm and silent and tolerating all these naughty engagements. So to be more humble than the straw on the street and more tolerant than the tree is really difficult, especially in Kali Yuga, where proud, arrogance, anger, hatred are dominating, and actually they are cultivated by human society nowadays in Kali Yuga. Like Srila Prabhupada characterized uh, uh, people nowadays, they are always disturbed by material conditions, and they are mostly unfortunate under. So in these circumstances, when our mind is very disturbed, we have very small scope of tolerance. What to speak about humility? Somehow or another, we have to introduce this noble Vaishnava angel-like qualities to our life. Practice them. I remember my Guru Maharaj when he was training us in the very beginning of our Krishna consciousness in our Polish Yatra. It was in the late 70s and early 80s. He told us, in Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is mentioned that we should put this verse, Trinatapi Sunichena Torah Sahishnuna, on our neck. So when I hear this, I immediately went to my to room and wrote this verse in the on the cartoon. It's quite cardboard, cardboard. Thank you. Thick, strong cardboard, and wrote old verse Trinata Pisunichana Torah Pisahishna Amani Namadana Kitanya Sadhari, and I put this on the string, and I was wearing this uh, this verse all the time, just to remember that I have to be Trinata Pisunichana Torah Pisahishna. When my mind was due to some situation, unfortunate circumstances that trigger some anger or some frustration, I want to burst with some mm, impolite words, then so it was reminding me I should be different than it was before. So this is very good. This is very good practice. Something favorable. Something in the which referring to niyama. Something what is recommended for upliftment, for improvement. So whatever works for us, we should adopt to make improvement in our spiritual life. And as we know, life is quite short. How long we can live in this body? Just only a few decades, and time is running very quickly. So therefore, if we consciously think, strategizing about our spiritual development, our spiritual improvement, what we should do, how we should do things, and why we should do things, why we are doing all these things, why are we doing what we're doing? If we just be a little bit more introspective and deliberate about all these very important questions, why I'm doing what I'm doing, how I should do things, what I should do, and how I should do to satisfy Krishna. So then Krishna will slowly give us intelligence to improve activities and behavior for his satisfaction. And then naturally we will be able to chant the holy name constantly. So this chanting holy name constantly with this humility and tolerance is very favorable because it's helping us to develop a relationship, personal relationship with Krishna. We paying attention to Krishna, especially that we know that holy name is not different than Krishna himself. In our case, uh, name is different than the object. Uh, Sometimes we identify ourselves with the name, but in general, in this world of names, usually names it doesn't reflect the quality of the object. But in case of absolute atmosphere, absolute realm, uh, holy name of the Lord, Krishna, is identical with the Supreme Person, has the same quality as Krishna. Holy name, this transcendental vibration of the name of the Supreme Lord, is not different than Krishna as Supreme Person. When we utter Krishna, Krishna is present. Of course, we can feel according intensity of our affection to Krishna. We can feel Krishna's presence. So the more we pay attention to chanting, proper chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and with great attention, we absorbing this transcendental sound vibration through our ear to our heart, we can relish Krishna's presence. Anyway, Krishna consciousness or Bhakti Yoga practice is all about to have Krishna in our life, to have Krishna's association in our life. In this way, the more we have association of Krishna, the more Krishna conscious we are. And there, wherever we go, whatever we do, we always remember Krishna. This is why we're doing what we're doing, to remember Krishna, to satisfy Krishna. So therefore, Srila Prabhupada emphasizing this point here in this particular passage, kirtanam, proper chanting with great affection and with full attention, shravanam, hearing, helping us to develop this personal exchanges with Krishna. This sometimes like in our earthly ordinary relationship. When you talk to someone and this person is just, turning turning back backward, showing you his back, not paying attention what you are telling, you feel very neglected, you feel very ignored. So this discouraging you to continue to talk to this person. Or this person, nowadays especially, nowadays especially, you're talking with some person, you feel some excitement to share some news or discuss some strategy or something for upliftment or something, and the phone is ringing, and this person just is absorbed with all of a sudden interrupting the discussion and conversation and switching to the phone conversation, ignoring you totally on the phone of, of him. Uh, You feel very neglected, like persona non grata, unwanted. So you just want to go away. So we have these natural tendencies when we are neglected or ignored to just not paying attention anymore to developing a relationship with this person who just neglecting you or ignoring you. Well, this tendency is coming from original source of all different tendencies, from Krishna. Krishna is the supreme person. Therefore, in us, there are such tendencies to be treated personally, to have personal exchanges, to have personal relationship. So therefore, if we chant the holy name of the Lord, and if we know that Krishna is not different than his holy name, so we will chant and pay attention, so then these exchanges have place. And we chant his name like we hear our, like we hear pronunciation of our names. Krishna Mai or Manati Devi. So immediately smile is raising on your how do you call it? Mai. So, then you feel a little bit disturbed, what's going on. Or I'm just doing something and I just very neglectfully say name. So we have this tendency to be treated properly and nicely. Then we have tendency to reciprocate in this way. But if there's no nice exchange, no nice addressing us, not proper addressing us, so then we feel in opposite way. Well, Krishna, when we chant his holy name with affection, he is eager to associate with us, to be with us. And when we pay attention and we chant with affection, then naturally we can relish Krishna's presence. But if this attention is not there, then how can affection be there? It's no question. Therefore, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur mentioned that due to unattentive chanting, we have tendency to commit all other different offenses. If we just make our attention more sharp, we tune our attention to just for very attentive listening, so then we will reduce all other tendencies to commit offenses against the holy name of the Lord. So attention is extremely important. When we chant with affection and attentive listening is extremely important. In this way, we can also develop this beautiful quality, powerful quality of humility and tolerance that guarantee us to chant the holy name constantly. While chanting the holy name of the Lord, one should be careful to avoid 10 offenses. From Sanat Kumara, it is understood that even if a person is a severe offender in many ways, he is freed from offensive life if he takes shelter of the Lord's holy name. Like Jagannath Madhava, yeah? Remember the story? Yeah. As soon as they accepted shelter, the lotus feet of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who gave them uh, his mercy to chant the holy name, the Lord, they come, they, they change completely for horrible persons to enjoy like Vaishnavas. Indeed, even if a human being is no better than a two-legged animal, he will be liberated if he takes shelter of the holy name of the Lord. One should therefore be very careful not to commit offenses at the lotus feet of the Lord's holy name. The offenses are described as follows. A. To blaspheme a devotee, especially a devotee engaged in a broadcasting the glories of the holy name. This is horrible. This Hatimata offense. Hatimata means offense of the mad elephant. Could you imagine situation? We are cultivating beautiful garden here because we hear from our authorities, our Guru, Maharaj, La Prabhupada desire that that we should maintain our community from our own food. So we're growing beautiful garden, veggies, fruits, and all of a sudden, mad elephant is coming and tramping on all this plants. We feel completely devastated, and it's huge disaster. So this is something like we are cultivating bhakti, not paying attention to weeds, some unfavorable qualities that also can that can grow. So therefore, if we instead of blaspheming devotee or criticizing devotee, we developing favorable, friendly relationship with devotees and glorify devotees and do some service to devotees, assisting in their service, then we can restrain ourselves from this Kali Yuga tendency, negative tendency that can degrade us and and uh, and can save us from this Hatimata elephant. B. Consider the name of Lord Shiva or any other demigod to be equally as powerful as the holy name of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. No one is equal to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, nor is anyone superior to him. C. To disobey the instructions of the spiritual master. D. to blaspheme the Vedic literatures and literatures compiled in pursuance of the Vedic literatures. E. To comment that the glories of the holy name of the Lord are exaggerated. F. To interpret the holy name in a deviant way. G. To commit sinful activities on the strength of chanting the holy name. H. To compare the chanting of the holy name to pious activities. I. To instruct the glories of the holy name to a person who has no understanding of the chanting of the holy name. G. Not to awaken in transcendental attachment for the chanting of the holy name, even after hearing all these scriptural injunctions. There is no way to atone for any of these offenses. It is therefore recommended that an offender at the feet of the holy name continue to chant the holy name 24 hours a day. I remember it was very long, on the very beginning of my bhakti practice, I hear from my Guru Maharaj a description of one Vaishnava who is described in Chaitanya Charitamrita. I don't remember if it was Krishna Das or someone else. There is description in Chaitanya Charitamrita that this devotee was completely addicted to the holy name. He was completely dedicated. He was he was mm, uh, so dedicated to holy name that he was chanting the holy name all the time. When he was eating, between bites, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And then when he was laughing, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, he was constantly 24/7. When I hear this, this is cool. I like it. So then I start to introduce this. So, of course, in that time in Poland, we cannot chant holy name of the Lord loudly outside of our building because in obvious situation was communist country and was nothing allowed. Just I said what is communism, but inside whenever I was trying to practice this way. Hare Krishna, just of course when there was some conversation between devotees, I noticed that some of the devotees practice this during conversation. Hare Krishna, and you know what? It happened yesterday. Hare Krishna, and they said, and this is a little bit off. I was not very much in favor of this. I don't practice in this way. Just during conversation, chanting the Holy, especially japa. You're chanting this was off. But except this, then during eating, then laughing and yelling, Hare Krishna, 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 all different activities wherever you go. And when we were outside and we cannot chant loudly, so then in mind, just trying to chant in a mind, just practice somehow or another to stick to the holy name all the time. We have anyway, we have awesome tool. This human form of life is excellent tool to practice uh, chanting the holy name, which is only way, like we hear. There is no other way. There is no other way. There's no other way. Just only by chanting we can improve our quality of our life. There is no way to atone. Yeah, I could already read this. Uh, Constant chanting of the holy name will make one free of offenses, and then he will gradually be elevated to the transcendental platform on which he can chant the pure holy name of, and thus become a lover of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It is recommended that even if one commits offenses, one should continue chanting the holy name. In other words, the chanting of the holy name makes one offenseless. It's like mother. You can share with us, Marathi Devi. You can share with us your experience. Sometimes your boys are not very obedient and nice to you that as you can expect. I remember my mother was always, reminding me that I was quite naughty and bad, especially with eating uh, habit. I was always putting spoon away or kicking. She was pointing out that when my grandmother was trying to do this, instead of my mother to help her with feeding me, I was kicking, and she has a lot of bruises because I was, yeah, because I don't remember how, because I was very little, but it was so much. And and they didn't throw me out, didn't reject me. They were trying every day, 3 times a day, despite of these bruises and throwing the spoon away from my mouth and all these things. Still, they were trying 3 times at least a day, every week, every month, every year. They were so tolerant and full of loving affection just to maintain my body and soul together, just to help me. This is exactly like holy name. We chant without attention. We doing some offenses against the holy name. Still, holy name is so tolerant, merciful, and forgiving. And despite of all the different offenses we are doing, and we are horrible offenders, still, holy name is just giving us, giving and giving benefit day after day, attempt after attempt. The chanting of the holy names makes one offenseless. In the book Nama Kaumudi, it is recommended that if one is an offender at the lotus feet of a Vaishnava, he should submit to that Vaishnava and be excused. Similarly, if one is an offender in chanting the holy name, he should submit to the holy name and thus be freed from his offenses. In this connection, there is the following statement spoken by Daksha to Lord Shiva. I did not know the glories of your personality, and therefore I committed an offense at your lotus feet in the open assembly. You are so kind, however, that you did not accept my offense. Instead, when I was falling down because of accusing you, you saved me by your merciful glance. You are most great. Kindly excuse me and be satisfied with your own exalted qualities. One should be very humble and meek to offer one's desires and chant prayers composed in glorification of the holy name, such as Ai Mukta Kulair Upasayamanam and Nivritta Trashair Upagyamanat. One should chant such prayers to become free from offenses at the lotus feet of the holy name. Is another beautiful statement Srila Prabhupada made here. Very important point. Vandana, prayer, are very powerful. If we pray to Krishna, my dear Lord, please allow me to chant your holy name with full understanding that you are not different than your holy name. And I'm begging you, please help me to pay attention, to carefully absorb transcendental sound vibration of your holy name through my ear to my heart, to have your sweet divine association during this day, that I can perform pure devotional service for your satisfaction. Please help me. And if we pray, and also we also can read such prayers or glories of the holy name. Like there is Namamrita book, beautiful book, full of different glories, compilation of different glories of the holy name. So then if we contemplate these glories, so then we will pay more attention to glorious holy name of the Lord, and with great attention we will chant and hear the holy name. Shri Krishna Sankirtana ki jai. Hare Krishna. Are there any questions or comments? We have 5 minutes. By Krishna's Krishna Prabhupada's grace.
Mantras or like other variants of Hare Krishna mantra. So I have a little practical question. Sometimes we may how can we check what's the best way to make sure that what we chant is actually Hare Krishna mantra? Meaning that sometimes we may maybe I start from an example myself that on occasions sometimes when I'm tired or like my mind starts to drift away, then sometimes you tell me, what are you
Hare
doing?
Krishna.
And that's a reminder for me to.
Hare Krishna. Can you hear me for both?
Yes.
I want to thank you for a wonderful class. And I just want to add one thing that came up in one of the classes that I attended when I was in India. And it
Yes.
was uh, that the meaning of chanting the holy name is, Dear Lord, please engage me in your service, but also free me from the service of Maya. That was added to it. And I thought that was such an interesting point that was made about freeing us from the clutches of Maya. Free me from the service of Maya. I just wanted to make that one comment. Thank you very much for a wonderful class.
Thank you for beautiful comment, Prabhu. Thank you so much. Krishna Mai has some question.
Hare Krishna, it's a wonderful class. I have a question, practical question. How can we check that what we actually chant is proper Hare Krishna mantra? I gave this example that sometimes when I'm tired or like my mind is maybe drift away, and then sometimes you tell me what you chant because it reminds me of okay, that means I stop listening, and I have to come back to the attentive listening. But so, how practically, because sometimes in a temple, when there are many devotees chanting, sometimes we can see that devotees are not maybe pronouncing properly or chanting, but they are convinced that they are chanting Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. But when we are listening, we can hear that it's not exactly, it doesn't sound like. How practically we can address that situation for ourselves to always make sure that's like a check, but also like how it can help if we notice that somebody devotees are struggling with this.
Well, this is quite it's practical question. Thank you very much for bringing this up. Uh, well, if
Prabhu,
devotees,
Prabhu,
yes.
some of us did not hear the question properly. Can you repeat the question for us?
Oh, question. It was question that sometimes we see we sometimes we experience in different situations that due to maybe we are exhausted and tired or maybe sometimes space out, we don't chant proper Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. we swallow some words or because different things can happen. So how we can check ourselves that we are still on the proper track? She brought this example that sometimes when she's exhausted and tired and thinking about many different activities that should things that should be done, so sometimes she's not paying attention to proper chanting, and sometimes it is not full Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. So therefore, what to do is to pay attention or to be corrected.
Not exactly. I mean, not exactly like that example. I said that rarely, but when we may catch ourselves and not even unwillingly and not fully aware that our mind has drifted away, and then it's nice to have someone that would like correct us. Like sometimes my husband is so kind, and sometimes he would say like what are you just indicating that okay, my mind has for me that my mind has drifted away and I have stopped listening. But my question was also how we can check our own quality of chanting because we may develop a habit of not chanting properly. But also sometimes we find ourselves situation that we are witnessing another devotee that are not chanting um, properly. So how can we help them as well? Anyhow, difficulties.